everyone. Before we begin, I want to let you know that this podcast is for informational and inspirational purposes only. The advice and insights shared here are based on my personal experiences and expertise, but they are not a substitute for professional, medical, psychological, or business advice. If you are dealing with a specific issue, please consult a qualified expert. And thanks for watching. Hey everyone, on today's episode, I really want to look at a topic that a lot of people have asked me about, and it is actually about spirit guides. People say, are we guided by spirit? Who's guiding me? Is it my grandmother? Is it my granddad? Is it my brother? Is it my sister? Is it a guardian angel? What's the difference between angels? There's so many different questions that I'm here to answer in this episode. And I figured, why not? I'm just going to start and give you some information about your spirit guide. We all have spirit guides. And some of you might go, well, who are they? What are they for? What does it mean? And I don't know whether I believe in this. All right. And I totally get it. First of all, if you're watching the show, you obviously believe in something. You obviously believe that there is a higher power, or that you're just curious about the fact that life continues on. In reality, we are all guided. All right. I'm going to try and make this and break this down as simply as possible to help you understand it. So for me, I work as a medium, as a psychic, as a healer, as an intuitive coach. And what I am here to do is help people live the best life that they can, or give them hope and healing and comfort to continue to live the life that they can without the person that they are grieving. Now, one of the things that a lot of people really love is that they think that we are being guided, and they believe that there are helpers along the way. And I'm here to tell you, yes, there are. I'm here today, and I'm going to share with you how you meet your guide, how they communicate with you, and all of this stuff. So let's dive right in. Most people have about 4 to 5 guides. Now, you might be going, well, why do I need that many? Am I that special? Oh my God, is my life that terrible? I need that many. So there could be a load of reasons why you are actually thinking, why do I need all of these guides? Well, in fact, think of them as, let's try and make it into something more, more human-like. Let's talk at it as a corporation. Let's consider your guides as your managers, okay? The managers of departments. So let's just say if you have problems with finances, you're going to have a manager here. If you have a problem if you have relationships, you have a manager there. If you have your career, you have a manager there. Consider these as your guides. Now, these guides in your life are going to change because your relationships will change. Your work will change, situations will change. And so guides will come in and out, and they'll flow in and out. So it's kind of cool. Now, above and beyond all of those guides, there's this one guide, this head honcho that kind of rules and dictates it all. And here's what we consider the master guide. Now, the master guide is the person that organizes all of these other little guides. I'm trying to make it easy for you. All right. So they organize all these other little guides for you, and they'll bring different people in. Now, you might be saying, well, who is my head honcho? Who's my master guide? It's not going to be anybody you know in this life. And let me explain why. You have had a pact between lives. So when you were back in the spirit world, you had a pact with your guide, your master guide, and said, hey, dude, or hey, whoever you are, soul person over there, you are going to look after me. You are going to be the one that has to guide me through life. And they might say, oh, heck no. And you'll be like, yep, you're up. Tag, you're it. Now, likewise, you've probably had to do exactly the same to them on the other side. But you are choosing the person or the soul, okay, that is going to help you the most. You are choosing the soul that is going to guide you in the best way possible for your life purpose. We are all on this life purpose. Whatever this life purpose is, you are here to learn something. Mine is trust. There is definitely a way that I am here to raise the consciousness. I'm here to help people. For whatever reason. Okay. Now, I have chosen my guide particularly. My guide's name is Ben. Now, it seems very simple. I'm sure he's got a very unique name. I don't know. I'm sure it's some random name that I can't pronounce, but I've called him Ben. He told me his name was Ben. And honestly, we associate all right, with the name Ben because of the way that society's done. He probably I know he doesn't have a gender because they don't have genders. We're all souls. We're just souls. We're just in that floaty space. But Ben is something that I can identify with. Now, some of you might be going, well, how can I get hold of my spirit guide's name? All right, so let's talk about this. I am going to say I am not. You should never ask a psychic medium, all right, what your guide's name is. Don't even waste your breath on that. Let me explain why. You are the one that has to have the relationship, not a psychic medium. You are the one that has to have your relationship with your own guide. All right. This is not something you're going to be giving somebody else power for. This is about you and your relationship. And so now, here's what happens is a lot of people sit in meditation home and suddenly they're like, I need your name. I need your name. Are you there? I need your name. Well, give it up. Give them a name. I don't know, name them something. Does it matter? Just give them a name. So it happened to me many years ago. I was obsessed by finding my guide's name. Just started in this work, I was obsessed. And someone said, your guide's name is Josh. So guess what? All along in every reading, I was calling my guide Josh. It was hilarious. Until this one night, okay, Charlie must have been about 12 months old, okay? So I'm talking 24 years ago. 24 years ago, maybe even 25. So 25 years ago. So as I'm lying there, it was a Sunday night. And I'm in my bed. It was a king bed. And I felt it. All of a sudden, the bed shrink and I'm just dozing off to sleep. It's a Sunday evening. And all of a sudden, I felt the bed get smaller. My grandmother, who had passed away at that point, my mum's mum, she came down this one side. She looked like she got this beautiful beehive and everything else. And she came around to the bottom of the bed and she said, I've taken you as far as I can. And I'm like, oh boy. And, whenever we talk about spirituality, and whenever we're talking about our gift, we always think that we have elevations. So we do. We kind of keep going up and up and up a level. And so when, she came, I was thinking, oh boy, she's going to, she's telling me I'm going up another level. But actuality is, she said, here is your master guide. Here's your guide. And she said, his name is Ben. Well, I'm going to tell you, he looked like a younger version of Neil Diamond. He was very handsome. He had that longer, shaggier hair. He had a little black turtleneck on. And I was like, oh boy, I don't mind him. I don't mind him. He can come in. And as he walked, as he just sort of like guided up here, I was like, okay. And it was one of those experiences that I literally want to replay many, many times, but I've never had that experience again. And I was like, oh my gosh. So Following day, I go and do a reading, and I'm reading for this woman called Carol. And why do I know her? Is because she was recommended to me from a friend of hers. And I remember saying to this woman, I remember these random things. And I remember saying to her, Carol, my guide Josh is telling me. And I heard, my name is Ben. And I went, ooh, it was like I'd upset him. And I went, okay, my guide Ben. And so that's how Ben came about. So I had been calling him something else. And when you are ready, you are going to meet this master guide. You are going to have a connection with this guide. This guide is going to tell you their name. So make something up initially. If you feel the absolute need to have your guide on speed dial with his name, call them something else. Doesn't matter what you call them, because I'm going to tell you they'll soon correct you. Okay? So Ben has been my master guide. Ben takes control of all of these other guides that step in. Now, my grandmother now steps in when I have to deliver bad news. So whenever I read for a client and I'm like, oh shit, I'm seeing my grandmother, that tells me there's definitely some form of bad news that I have to give. If I see my grandfather, that tells me that I am going to be really diving in to a very masculine part of somebody, or it could be the fact that he's guiding me with my work, and I never know, so I never take it for granted. Or if I see Merv Griffin, I'm like, oh, hey buddy, what's going on? And I'm like, oh, I know something's going to shift with my career. So for me, I actually see these guides or hear them or feel them. So your general guides that are going to guide you through life, relationships, work, career, all of that are normally people that you have known in this life. So it could be your grandparents, it could be anybody. You have probably known them, but your master guide you would not have known. Now, what their role is to manage all these other guides, okay? And they work with the Council of Elders. So there is a Council of Elders. Now, some people have been talking about the Council of Elders for years, and normally I believe, okay, this is my belief, and I wrote a book on it, Survival of the Soul, and it talked about what happens when we die, and this is my belief. I believe that in this Council of Elders, there are elders that are sent to walk our path with us. And these elders are here to elevate the consciousness of those around them. So do I believe that Wayne Dyer was an elder? Absolutely. He could even be an ascended master, which we'll talk about in a second. But I truly believe that there are people that are placed into life that are elders to help elevate the consciousness of the world, and that is there to make people wake up, simply. Now, we also have ascended masters. Now, these ascended masters are they are often religious figures who have walked this pathway, who have transformed people's lives. People like Gandhi, Mother Teresa, Buddha, all of those. Okay, Jesus, ascended masters. But the Council of Elders, okay, I don't know how many there are. Some people will say there's 12, but I do feel as though they're intertwined. And on another podcast, I'm going to talk about soul groups. And so the soul groups, it all intertwine with this. So these Council of Elders, they are the ones that hold your life contract. Okay, they are the ones that are going to say, right, this is your life. These are the things that you have to accomplish. And it's in this part, you have to accomplish this. Now go and find, this is all in spirit, now go and find the person that you believe is the best person that is going to take you through this, who's going to guide you through it, and he's going to put the right people into place. So I obviously chose Ben. Simple. Ben is doing a remarkable job, but there was a point in my life that I lost Ben. Didn't know where he'd gone, had no idea. He just suddenly disappeared. I was talking to him every single day. I'm like, where are you? What is going on? Oh my gosh. And I truly thought I had lost Ben. I thought I'd lost my connection. But no, probably about a year later, I can't remember exactly how long ago, but I just remember he disappeared from my life. And some of you might be going, well, how did he disappear? I don't know. He just disappeared. And there I am in London. It was before I came to America. So it was definitely more than 20 years ago. I'm in London. I'm in a nightclub. I'm sitting on the toilet, as you do, because I need to pee. And suddenly I'm like, oh my gosh, there's Ben. Wow, why are you here now? All of a sudden he came back. I'm like, dude, hello, isn't there a better way that you can come back? Could you not come back to me in my dreams, in my sleep, in the middle of a reading, whatever it was? But no. And you know what I realized is I realized that I was not living my authentic life, and I had totally lost my connection to my guide. And I was just living a life that maybe was what was expected of me at that time. And I very much was living my life in a very ego driven way. So, of course, Ben just disappears until I'm ready, and here I am. Now, I will have to say, Ben has not left me since. Thank you very much. Don't leave me. And as I did that, I heard this chuckle on the other side, this laughter on the other side. So, with that, it is quite interesting. And so Ben popped in and pops out. And what he now does is I use him whenever I need guidance for me. He is strictly there for me. Your gift, let's talk about this. Your gift should absolutely serve you first. It should never serve anybody else first. It should serve you first. So Ben helps me with my life. I open him up and I say, give me opportunities that I can open myself up to. Give me things that I can see. Put things in my way that I have to really start looking at and saying, is this the right thing for me? That's what I always say. Help me be on the right path. Okay. Because my guides are going to help me. My guides are absolutely going to help me. They are not going to give me anything that I cannot do or that I shouldn't do. They're always going to put me on the right path. And I always say it's an opportunity that's there for trust. Now, let's talk about angels. Now, I am not the angel expert, all right? I leave that to Radley Valentine. I love Radley. He's a friend of mine. I leave that to him. However, guides and angels are not the same, but our angels are here. They have not walked the earth plane. Our guides have walked the earth plane. Our angels have not. All right. There is, question whether there are a couple of angels that have worked the earth plane, but that's up to Radley, and maybe I'll bring him on here to explain it. But our angels are definitely there, and they work simultaneously with our guides. There's a big communication that happens. Of course there is. But it's actually your guides that are going to help you. So if you are developing your own spiritual gift, or if you are just even going through life, I encourage you to have a communication with your guides. So now you might be going, well, how am I going to do that, Lisa? I'm not Lisa Williams. La, la, la. I get it. All right. What we want to do is we want to start recognizing that you have a guide. First of all, acceptance of the fact that you have a guide is the utmost important. Then it's recognizing that your guide is there to help you throughout your day. So set up a sign. You could say, if my guide is here, I'm going to see 1111. Or if my guide is here, I'm going to see a feather. Or if my guide is here, I'm going to have something happen. Okay, something positive. Don't get into a car accident or anything like that. But if my guide is here, I am going to start seeing signs. You could even use a pendulum. I don't even have one here, but yeah, you could even use your pendulum and question, is my guide with me? And the more that you start communicating with your guide, the better. So we're going to look at signs from your guides, okay? We're going to look at all of how you can communicate with them. Sometimes you'll feel these repeating numbers. You'll have dreams, you'll have feelings, you'll have butterflies, you'll have a variety of different things. You will have these things that will actually often be driven by nature. Nature will often bring this in and they will connect in with you, and you'll be like, it's a sign from my guide. Okay. You might have this intuition that happens, this gut feeling, this feeling of like, wow, I'm being guided in this direction. You know, there's no coincidences in life. It's mostly your guide saying, hey, wake up, wake up. And they're actually coming forward and they are saying to you, look, things are too perfectly aligned for it just to be coincidence. This is where your guide is setting up life to happen for you. Life is happening for you, not to you. And so I'm going to say to you, how do you connect with your guides? Think about it. What actually has happened for you in your guides or with them to actually connect in? Now, we also have to nurture the communication. We can't just expect them to be there. Consider them your new best friend. If you are not having a regular relationship with them, you're checking in them with them. Hey, how are you? What's going on? Da, da, da. Trust me, they're going to be like, poof, I'll just show up when they need them. If you want to have this relationship with them, if you want to nurture this relationship, if you want to manifest things, then your guides are essential to this. So there's a couple of ways how you can nurture this relationship. One, simply say hello to them every single day. All right? When you're saying hello to them every single day, what you're actually doing is saying, hey, I'm ready to work with you. Hey, I'm ready to level up. Hey, I'm ready to connect into my own spiritual journey. Now, I personally have just had this little ding, this high-pitched noise that tells me my guides are here. As I connect in, as I drop into my breath, and I say, Ben, are you here? I suddenly feel this big presence behind me here, okay? And it's a big presence. And so now I feel like I can fall into that. You got to remember, I've established a relationship with my guides for many years. And so breath work and meditation is going to help you. Having this moment of slowing down, which we actually forget, slowing down is going to help connect with your guide, and it's also going to help you feel like you are very aligned. Meditation is also another way that you can communicate with your guide. Journaling, a good old-fashioned pen and paper is going to help you work with them. And it could be simple journaling prompts like, what does my guide have to say to me today? And start writing anything, even if it's just random words that come up, and set yourself a timer for like 20 minutes. Set this up and just sit there, and whatever comes into your mind, pop it down. Just allow that to happen. You've also got to trust these like first impressions that you get. Listen, we're in a world of overthinking. We are in a world where we just feel like I need to analyze. Stop overthinking, my friends. It doesn't work. So let it all come out. And honestly, I would create a sacred space. You've seen these things behind me, okay? So I have all these little things. All right, so I have my Ganesha here. I have all sorts of different things. Each one is very symbolic of a different part of my life. And so there are different, I stand in front of them and I am very connected. Like I've got my crystal skulls up here. I've got my spirit guides. I've definitely got angels a little bit further up. So I've got a variety of different altars. Create your altars, whether it is with a picture, with a candle. I don't have a candles on here. Photographs, crystals, I don't know, whatever works for you. It is important here. Now, if you look on this side, there's actually a message for my guide here. So whenever I get messages, the spirit will literally give me information. And sometimes I'll just put it in a beautiful picture and I'll just frame it, because some of the information is so powerful. I love it. It's remarkable. Now, I'll tell you honestly, right? Oh, this is actually really funny. I never forget doing one of my first healings. And I thought, oh my God, I was so like, I've got to use my guide because I don't know how to use it. I don't know how to do it. And so, of course, I'm connecting with this guy, and this guy's got long beard, and he kind of looks Japanese, and he's got this long beard, and he's got this long hair. And I was so excited. I went home to my first husband, and I said, oh my God, I met a new guide. And he's like, okay. I went, his name is Konnichiwa. And he said, what? I said, Konnichiwa. And he said, you do know that is hello in Japanese? And I went, oh. I didn't at the time, obviously. But what was interesting about this is that, I didn't have a name for him. Okay. So I just thought his name was Konnichiwa. And he worked with me for many, many years. And as I was working with him, he was telling me what to do. And what was interesting, now as I'm doing my healing, sometimes I'll bring different guides in, and all I'll hear is leave it with us now. And I'm like, okay, so I back away from my client, not literally, but I just sort of let go, and my spirit guides take over. I was working on somebody last week, and as I was removing a lot of energy strands from her, her brother stepped in, who is actually guiding her now. Her brother stepped in, who I knew, and removed all of it. And then as I released, and as I let the healing go, and as I surrendered to it, it was almost like I had this Merlin's beard. It was almost like this beard came off. And at that point, it was like it was just being surrendered into the universe. And I felt like I'd got this whole, listen, some people are going to think I'm absolutely crazy with this, but hey, you're my friend. So if you feel that this is normal, great, because I am so normal in this space. All right. So anyway, I found that this like big beard was coming out of me. And all of a sudden, I just saw all of this surrounding like this orchestra of people, like this group of people that were all singing, all in harmony as I released. And then my client is like there quietly, and there's tears, and she's doing whatever. And then I go around and release it all from the house. And then I come back, and she's like, oh my God, that was so powerful. Because what we're doing is I'm surrendering to the guide and what the guide wants me to do. Now, I'm going to tell you, some people are going to think I'm absolutely batshit crazy, and I get it. But I always say, welcome to my circle of weirdness where we're all not normal. All right. So if you relate to me, we're all normal in my world. We're all very normal. And I think it's great. I think I'm not against anybody not trusting. Now, I also want to share here, that doesn't mean I don't believe in God. That doesn't mean I don't believe in that there is a higher power. Because I do. I mean, I'm sitting here right now as a spiritualist minister. That's what I do. One of the greatest things that I do is my ministerial work. It's one of my favorite things to do. But in this part, I think there's a lot of people that question religion and spirituality, and they mix spirituality to be religious. And it's not necessarily so. Being spiritual, and this is what the spirit guides are sharing with me recently, is that it is about you being connected to the soul and you and your divine purpose that allows you to be connected to who you're supposed to be. It's connected into the deeper meaning, the reason why you're here. It's just this depth, and it's just this powerful understanding. I don't know how else to explain it other than that. And religion can be so dogmatic. It can be so driven in ego. It really can be in this egotistical way. And I'll tell you, sometimes I've just had to back away from religious. And I'll be honest with you, my mother-in-law, my in-laws are super religious. And yet we've found common ground. And it's in that common ground that spirituality, religion, spirit work, all of this can actually work hand in hand. And we can come together, and we can be very much hand in hand, and it's powerful. So anyway, it is such such a belief here that if you ask your spirit guides to work with you, they're going to work with you. They're going to want to work with you. I'm going to say to you, set a time every single day to communicate with them. Set a time that you can find out who they are, what story do they have, how did they help you in a past life, have they guided you before, are they your soulmate? There are some people who have come into this earth who have never found their soulmate and believe that their master guide is their soulmate. So I feel like our guides are here to help us. Our guides are truly, truly there. I'm telling you, I've had the time of my life with Ben. Now, let's talk about personalities, because each guide is going to have a personality. So I work with Josiah, I work with Anu, and I work with Ben, and I work with Ariel. So these are my 4 guides that I work with. And so Ben is my master guide. Ariel she's not an angel. The name may go with that, okay? But Ariel is a guide that actually comes in and helps when I'm dealing with children who have passed over. I also have Anu and I have Josiah. These 2 work on a more philosophical level. They are part of the Council of Elders, or the Elders, and I've worked very closely with them before. Now, each one of them has a different personality. Ben is, I don't know, he's got a dry sense of humor. He's fun. He's quirky. And he is there's also a serious side to him. Ariel is more ethereal, more airy. There's a lot of airiness, a lightness, a compassion, a giggly side. You've got Anu, who is actually really funny. He's very sarcastic. And then you've got Josiah, who is very, he's the old wise man. He's the old wise man that sits at the end of the bar that knows everyone's story and offers pearls of wisdom when you need it. Each one of those guides is a facet of my personality. Your guides are going to be very similar to your personality. And so they're not always going to be, these wise old souls. They can be fun. And, when Anu started to come through and I was in trance, this was actually funny. So I never forget him coming through and I'm like there and I feel like I'm dribbling and I'm in this trance-like situation. And he comes through and he said, he called me silly. And I will say that whenever I do trance, they actually will not use my name. And the reason why they won't use my name is because hearing my name will pull me out of the trance. So what they do is they call me the master. Okay. I don't know why they call me the master, but they call me the master. And so as they call me the master, she is very silly. And I'm like, oh my God. And so in that time, it's like he'll say that Lisa is human. She's very silly. She makes silly mistakes, especially if there was a question that was being asked about me. Because, hey, even though I'm in trance, I still want to have these questions asked. Josiah's the old wise guy. So remember that your guides are going to be part of your personality. All right. So I wanted to kind of dispel the myth today about spirit guides and how they work and who they are, because a lot of people will say this. Now, you might be sitting there going, and I could almost hear Ray in the background. So, well, if there are some guides, then why is not everybody listening to their guide? Why is there corruption in the earth? Why is this? Ray is he worked in news, so of course he's got to find the story in it. But in this space, the reason why these people are not listening to the guides is because they probably don't have a relationship with them. They probably don't know how to have a relationship with them. And they probably don't even believe in it anyway. But, we also need light and dark. We need, things that come across that provide us lessons, which are not always favorable. However, when we look at people who have caused injustice or caused problems, certainly in society, okay, naming no names or naming nothing, it is really about, are they listening to their guide? Some people would say yes. Winston Churchill, let's talk about Winston Churchill. It's one of my favorite beings. For a variety of reasons. Well, honestly, Winston Churchill had a massive part to play in spiritualism. Massive. Helen Duncan, back in the day, Helen Duncan was a Scottish medium. And I'm diverting on this little tangent again, but I just want to share this. She was a Scottish medium who was imprisoned because she basically, without realizing it, got herself into some trouble, into hot water, and told under trance-like situations, shared a story that was not public. And she was arrested for her own safety. Now, I have a copy of the document from her granddaughter, where there is a copy of the document where Winston Churchill said, "What is this tomfoolery?" Because under the minutes, or whatever it was, this minutes, and it was written in Winston Churchill's name. "What is this tomfoolery?" And it was so interesting because in there, it talked about why Helen Duncan was in there. And she was actually put in prison. And I believe, so don't quote me on this, but I believe that she was kept in prison for her own good. And she was a medium, and what happened is Winston Churchill changed the Witchcraft Act, I think it was Witchcraft Act of 1635, to be the Fraudulent Mediums Act of 1952, I believe, those dates, but definitely those acts. And he changed the acts of Parliament because she was imprisoned under the Witchcraft Act of 1635. Seriously. And what was interesting is Winston Churchill would often say that he used his intuition, that he listened to astrologers. Nancy Reagan was said to do that. Now, I know that for a fact. I know that Nancy Reagan loved astrologers and psychics. Not saying how I know that, but I know. So, religious leaders or spiritual leaders or political leaders will use the tools that they are given with their own intuition, astrology, and other things because it's an additional tool. So let's just go back. I truly believe that Winston Churchill communicated with his guides. I truly believe that Nancy Reagan did that. And who knows if she had some interest in, impacting Ronnie, with what was going on. But it is really about trusting your intuition, trusting your guides, and establishing a relationship with them. Anyway, thank you, my friends. Thank you so much for joining me today. And remember, the information shared on this podcast is meant to inspire and support you, but it's not a replacement for personalized advice from a qualified professional. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with someone who might benefit. And don't forget to tune in next time. Until then, take care and keep believing in something better.